Hey, this is Gene. I just want to talk a little bit about what I saw this morning and possibly what I think about McTominay or McGuire going to West Ham. Um, it's strange to me that a large, probably the biggest platform of a fans channel continually pushes this idea. Personally, I want McGuire to leave because I don't think he fits our style of play. But every time that he was booed, I guess, a little bit in Dublin. I watched that game, and when I was watching the Community Shield or Charity Shield or whatever it was, in that pretty much a snooze fest between City and Arsenal. They didn't come out of second gear really. Um, it's kind of funny now that City's lost 3 of those in a row, but they've won premierships every year that happens, so it's not a big issue for them. So I was watching both, and yeah, he did kind of get a little booey, I guess. But it's like, but Pogba got pooed, and did Maguire ever say anything so stupid like Pogba did? I mean, Pogba didn't get booed until he started saying he didn't want to stay basically in Manchester United. So um, he always does this as an English guy. He's so anti-English with the players that play for Manchester United. And when something happens to them, it's like, see, the press is this and that. And if it's a foreign player, this wouldn't happen. And, or, it's only the foreign players that get criticized for Manchester United. And it's like, it's so much drama on that show sometimes. Um, Again, Manchester United is in Manchester, inside of England. So when an English player gets booed like that, it's normal for the press to say, why is this happening? Talking about it. It's where he's from. He's a native to England. I don't understand the issue and why there's some sort of this. Everybody's going to respond to this, whatever signs response to this, are going to say there's bias for English players in the media. And okay, why wouldn't there be? It's like, what are they supposed to do? I mean, it's just not. I mean, in my own country here, our U.S. Women's team got knocked out because similar to what happened to the England against Italy in the Euros finals, 3 people in a row, all white or black people missed a penalty, and apparently there was racism everywhere, and we had to shield them because they're English players, and I'm like. And right now, Megan Rapinoe, who's the most anti-American person who's ever played for any national team in our history, is getting lauded. And ESPN is like saying she's the greatest thing. She's so patriotic. This is United States. She's United States person. And this is what happens. We're going to defend our players. The media normally is going to defend their players. But it's like every other word that comes out of his mouth is the same thing. So much bias, so much bias, so much bias. Well, they're English players. I don't know. I don't know exactly what you mean by that. The manager is going to decide who he's going to play based on the talents of the player. He's not going to look at the passport. So anyway, so I want to talk about because Beth also, she's from the same place, saying that it would be so great to get rid of McTominay. And I think that people forget what he actually does to the team. He's limited in his range of passing, but he's somewhat necessary. If we're going to lose Fred, if we're going to lose both Fred and McTominay, who's going to do anything other than Casemiro in the midfield to stop shit? Are we just going to say we're going to get a guy that's in a league that's not at the same level as the Premiership, is going to come in here and do what those guys have done, whether you can say they shit or not, or they're good or bad? They started a lot of games for Manchester United, won a lot of games for Manchester United, regardless of how the type of football that we played with them in the midfield. I just think that's one of those things you're going to look back and say, we probably should have got rid of Fred. We should have got rid of McTominay. because McTominay has a goal in him, and so does Fred. Um, I don't think Aberbat is better than those two players. I think he's similar to Fred, but Fred is already ingrained into the system, and we're going to get what, 8 million for him. I mean, it's, whatever. I mean, I trust the manager, so if that's what he thinks we should need to do, that's fine. But it's kind of shocking that it's the same thing every time I watch certain channels about if it's somebody who happens to be an English player that they're given like credit or it's there's so much anti-English on his show. He continually says about it, and he never really roots for the English team until they get somewhere, and then he's like all into it. He wants to win, and then it gets to the point where it's almost comical at this point. I mean, I get it. He's there. You know, I lived in England for 3 years, and the media sucks there as it does here. But still, when you talk about sports, because sports really doesn't mean a whole hell of a lot, but you're going to somewhat defend their own, and I don't really have an issue with that. And again, it gets people like him to say stuff about it, so they're going to continually put it in the press. So he will talk about it. People will talk about it. Will say this and this and this. It's very similar to what's happening right now because they said that it'd be so good for McTominay or McGuire to go to London. I'm like, well, what? London's not an English city anymore. It's just not. So if he wants to go there because it's London, okay. I don't know enough about the geography of where West Ham is, but it's not a native city anymore. And I mean, Manchester's going to be that way as well. Birmingham. I mean, it's not what you would think of a typical English town. And the thing is that Mark likes to talk on a global scale. He doesn't care that his whole country is being destroyed. Whatever you thought was an Englishman is pretty much gone right now. And it's going to get worse and worse and worse. And he'll wake up at some point and say, maybe I should have said something. You know, he's not going to live in Nottingham for the rest of his life or wherever he lives. He'll find some place with people that look like him. And I hate to go down this road, but there are a lot of people in England that think the way he thinks, and they think it's just going to be fine. They think London is a good thing. It is like the cesspool of, and when guys that have said things in the past about it, you know, of course they get canceled for saying it. We're having it here in the United States as well, and a lot worse for us, but we're a bigger country. So it's easier for us to, if we need to get away from it, let's say, like the guy that was the cartoonist for, what was he? His name was Adam. And he said the same thing. I'm going to go do this. You know, I'm going to be around people that look like me. I know it sounds racist to say it, but Canada is going to be minority, not native. Same thing's going to happen in England. And whatever you thought English is going to be fundamentally changed. And all they have to do is look at London. And if that's what they want, that's what they're going to get. I don't think that McGuire just wants to go to London because the diversity of everything there. I just don't think that's the case. Again, I don't really care. I mean, I trust the manager. It's just when I want to be able to watch it's like a minute in, and he's talking about this bias for English players. I mean, okay. And if Pogba got booed, everybody gets booed if they don't do what they're supposed to do. It's not based on where you come from. It's not. I think he lives in the past that he thinks that there's this. Everybody's xenophobic or something about people who are not from where they're at. Manchester United is a global brand, so much that I don't necessarily they've lost what they used to be. They're behind all these progressive, woke ideas, and because I'm a fan, I'm still going to watch the football. But when they put stuff on the internet, or they put stuff on their website or on their app, and they just continually push this Pride Month and then trans this and all this stuff that has nothing to do with football, and they just do it for, I guess, at the end of the day, they think they're going to get more money out of it. And they're not the only one, obviously. I mean, they're a big brand, so they have to be, they feel they have to be involved with this. But anyway, just let me know what you think in the comments about McGuire and McTominay. I think, of course, I don't really have a problem with McGuire leaving. I think that he just doesn't really fit the system. I still think that McTominay or Scott can fit this system. Now, whether he wants to go someplace so he can start, that might be the issue. I mean, he's 27. It's time for him probably to do that. Obviously, he's going to still start for his national team. He's a very important player for them. McGuire needs time, so he'll be good enough to play for the national team as well. Of course, he's like 30 now, so he's at that point in his career. He has to make a decision. Him sitting on the bench probably would not be good. I mean, a lot of things that Mark talks about, I agree with. His brand will be somewhat, not tainted, but just sitting on the bench for Manchester United is not a good thing. I mean, he's still going to get paid. I mean, he's not like Jones, who stayed there just to run out his contract. And then, of course, we gave them, I think under Ole, we gave him another 5 years when he should probably not have stayed with us. And I just don't know the guys we're going to bring in, Lavia or Aprobat, are better than McTominay or Fred. I could be wrong. I mean, Fred and McTominay have done it in the Premiership, which is the hardest place to play in the world. Sometimes they play not well, but overall they're a 6 and 7 type of player. They always have been that way. And sometimes Scott is almost an 8 player, and sometimes Fred is. Every now and then they have stinkers, but it's usually because the rest of the team sucks as well. And it's also how the team is set up and the tactics that we use. Players are not going back, especially the forwards are not coming back to do what they're supposed to do. And before I leave, I do want to talk about Pellistri. He was great again at Dublin. I think he needs to stay. Personally, in my other video, I thought that Garnacho and him with Højlund or Rashford at the 9, that's how we should play. Or we should play like like we used to play, a 4-4-2, and they can be on the wings, and then you can have 2 strikers up front. You can have Marcus and Højlund. I think that we need to look at that. But I think from what I hear that he might be going out on loan again or sold. Hopefully we don't sell him, because this guy's going to be a world star in my opinion. He just has something that no one else has on the team. And that goal at the end, great, like a scissor kick, unbelievable. And McGuire did his job up there to get us in a position to do something. So I hope he stays. I'm not going to get upset if we lose McTominay, but I think the McTominay or Fred, one of them has to stay. And if we're going to get like 7 or 8 million for Fred, then Fred needs to stay. I mean, we spent a lot of money on him, but I don't know that Aprobat is better. I could be wrong. But anyway, let me know in the comments, and we'll talk about it there. You guys have a good day. We lost our power yesterday, and we're having more storms today. Hopefully nothing will happen here. But, it is what it is. We talk about the United States and our infrastructure when it comes to the power grid. It's not that good when you think about how much money we have. But anyway, I'll talk to you guys later, and have a good day. Bye.